recording is active.
Who starts this, me or you?
We're here at your place.
Yes, me.
Here, right here at the end.
Right here at the end.
Still have not quite figured out the format that you created.
Look, from time to time, I kind of forget what's going on sometimes.
Well, I mean,
I got a lot
who among us can say that they ever fully know what's going on at all times?
Not me.
Yeah.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs, got going on here. This is the
In-N-Out Burger?
The In-N-Out. Have you ever had In-N-Out?
I have not.
I'm not either.
I
hear
heard
that
it's
they
good.
have one somewhere Midwest is as close as you get because it's a full West Coast thing.
We're going
right?
to be going Midwest soon, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I will be. I will be seeing if the city that I'm going to soon has In-N-Out. And if so, I will report back.
Please.
At a later time. But we're not here to talk about burgers. We're here to talk about comics.
Yeah, comics.
And this is the ABC, the TPBs. This is our final episode. This is the Z episode. We made it all the way to the damn Zs.
Yep. Now that our funding has been cut, we've taken all super soldier serums that we've been half-assedly working on. We've just taken all those and just gone ahead and injected them into ourselves.
Injected them right into our bodies. So
I'm not feeling too good.
Mr. Stark.
Yeah. Mr. Stark.
I'm not feeling too good. Well, we shouldn't have cut our funding. So this is the government's fault.
They shouldn't have called it barf.
Worst motivation ever in a movie.
Everybody's just slighted, man. It's like half of the issues, again, brought on by Tony Stark.
Oh, yeah.
But just some very slight.
Slight.
A slight.
Like, if they had just called it the Quentin Beck, he'd have been like, you know what? Employee of the month.
You know what? There you go. There would have been no Mysterio.
No Mysterio. Peter would have had the greatest strip ever. The end. We still wouldn't have known Nick Fury was a Skrull. Anyways, we're here to talk about comics. The Z's. This being our final episode. And we're starting with my pick, Zero, from Image Comics.
It's going to be a quick episode.
This is going to be the quickest episode. Did you even get a chance to read Zero?
Oh, I read all Zero.
You read all Zero?
Yeah. It was touch and go there for me. You want to get into it, or you want to?
Yeah. I mean, you might as well roll into it. Zero, published by Image Comics, written by Alice. I'm assuming it's how you ALES. It's hopefully not Ailes.
Maybe Alice.
Alice cut with art by Michael Walsh. Here, this is kind of like a black op government military type deal.
Yeah.
The story behind this, I have no fucking idea.
There's a lot of shit going on.
There's a lot of.
I started reading this and I heard of it like a lot of people were into watching The Boys. I don't know if you've. It seemed like you were watching it the other day.
I'm halfway done.
What do you think so far?
I love it. Show us fucking bananas.
I'm gonna start watching it probably tonight.
Oh yeah, you gotta chime in every couple episodes. Let me know what you're thinking.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. But yeah, it smacked of that.
You think so?
It smacked of that a little bit at the beginning, and I found myself kind of wrestling with it. I didn't know if I was going to be able to finish this volume because one, they kept switching up the artwork.
Yes, it seems like there was four or five issues in this trade.
Yeah,
and it seemed like there's 2-3 different artists.
Yeah, it's like drastically different.
Different.
The thing is, the artwork wasn't bad. It was jarring.
Jarring. That's a great word. There was no art continuity.
Right. But still, and then there were also many tropes that I was dealing with. And I kept hearing that voice in my head. Simpsons did it. It's like I've seen this stuff before, but then we got to. Where it turned for me was when he was in that first issue when he did that op where he was taking out the two weapons.
Yeah.
And he was given the objective, and he achieves the objective, but in his own way.
Yes, he has a little bit of roundabout way of achieving a little outside of the parameters he was given.
Very outside the parameters, and to the point where he was like, "I did this thing; they don't need to know about it."
Right.
It's very reminiscent of Daniel Craig as in the first
Casino Royale. Yeah.
I really enjoyed his take in that first film.
Agreed.
Yeah.
This first page had me hooked, man. There's a little boy about to kill an older version of our main character, and
of course we don't know that at first, but we kind of know.
Yeah, it's kind of cliffside. He's sitting in a chair, drinking has a bottle of what I assume is some kind of booze. Kid's got a gun to the back of his head, and he's like, "Before you kill me, though, I just got a story to tell first." And I'm like, that's a good opening hook right there, and it proceeds to get confusing as shit from there.
I thought that the use of superpowered weapons for super soldiering was interesting, but it didn't go off the page for me until they got to the fucking transporter tech.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I reading?
What am I? So the summary that Image has for this on Comixology is Edward Zero was the best spy the agency had.
That's a great fucking name, by the way.
Edward Zero. Yeah, it is. And they didn't realize he was working for the wrong side.
Oh.
I feel like they tried to put one too many twists and turns, and you don't know. You know, one of the tropes is you don't know who's working for who or whose allegiances are to who and spy joints, and I think that's alluding to some of the tropes that you're talking about there. And it just becomes a little bit too muddled and complicated and confused for me.
Like these handlers, they get together, they assault each other verbally, and then they assault each other sexually.
Yeah.
Many times.
Many times.
And they keep coming back for more.
Good for them, I suppose.
Hey, everyone's got to have. I mean, it's all within consent.
Yeah, it's all with this, and then there's the changing of the artists.
I had to stutter and step for a little bit and say, "Hey, am I even reading the same book? Is this a flashback? Is that why they're doing a different?"
Yeah. I was like, "Is this supposed to be our main character?" Because I'm used to him looking like this in an issue, and then he looks a little bit different in this issue, and it just really took me out. And I'm not sure if he was trying to do something different aesthetically by having a damn near different artist in every issue, but it didn't work for me. What did you think about this second issue where he's for lack of a better words a hired gun? He's a blunt instrument. In the second issue, you get a little bit of a flashback at his life, and his first task is he's got to kill this dude, but he's got to hide out like in one of their closets for.
He's given specific instructions to stay there for at least 3 days before he terminates the target. And this is to test his resolve, because once you've been around people for a while, you kind of bond with them, you can identify with them and whatnot. So now you got to take out the target.
Yeah. What is there any closet in your house that you just don't open for days at a time?
I can't say that there is.
That's not unless like your hot water heater closet.
Yeah, but we also have to assume that he was moving around too.
Yeah.
Time. And if he were discovered, then go loud.
So yeah, it feels like, and then we have like almost Jonathan Hickman-esque little interstitials in between to kind of build the world and continue to make things. Yeah. I mean,
you've read Black Monday Murders, right?
Yes, I read Volume 1 and I own Volume 2. I've not read it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, Hickman did it better.
Yeah.
And then we have for issue 3 an entirely new artist from issues 1 and 2. And, it's just this. I think issue 3 is really where it started to lose me a little bit.
Started losing,
Yeah. Well, no, not 3. I think this was a nice little contained issue of this is the idea. And then this is what we gotta do. And I was like, all right, this is a nice little one-off issue with him and a girl that he came up with in Assassination School, for lack of and
they just call it Assassination School.
Yeah, Assassination School. And it might be the best issue of this whole thing. It's very nice and self-contained. You don't need a whole lot of extra information. I think it might be 4 where things kind of go off the rails for me. And I have no idea.
You didn't finish it, huh?
Oh, no, I finished it.
Okay.
I just by this point I was like, I don't think I'm really feeling this, and I just wasn't as committed when I got to 4 as I was when I was reading 1, 2, and 3. What about you? Did it feel like, all right, I just gotta power through this, or was it like, oh well, I'm done?
No, I'll keep. I had an idea of. I was like, well, let's see where it goes, because the 4th issue was kind of a weaker issue compared to the one before, and there were like a lot of beats, and it just felt like the characters were doing things not because they wanted to, but because more of it is what they had to. It was their destiny,
Yeah.
They're just kind of painting by numbers.
Yeah, it did seem kind of paint by numbers at times. Like the motivations of some people didn't really make sense to me.
I mean, the whole thing about we learned this when we read the Rye issues. It's like, oh, you got this brainwashed super soldier who's just going about his business and taking orders from this organization, not questioning anything, and then something happens to make him question things and turn on the organization. We hadn't gotten to that point in the book yet.
Correct.
But talking about the synopsis they have, it's gonna happen. That's just
fairly
that's just
obvious.
kind of the thing. And for me, it's like, do they have any soldiers that just stay loyal? It's just so hard to find loyalty these days.
Oh, I mean, maybe if they weren't so shady about things, it'd be easy
But
to
the
have
thing
a loyal
is,
soldier.
if you're a shady organization, that's the par for the course.
That's par for the course.
Yeah, you just get kind of like, hey, we're shady as fuck.
Maybe the better question is, can we just get a spy book where the government isn't shady as fuck?
No.
No.
That's one of the
No.
cornerstones. If there are no shady dealings, there's no need to have a spy organization.
But if you look
if
at
everyone's on the up and up, then why have the 007s?
Because not everybody is on the up and up. You still got the bad guys doing bad guy things, but at least the good guy governments cannot be shady for once.
They gotta stay a
No,
step
no.
ahead of the bad guys by
Okay,
doing
now-
even worse stuff.
By that,
Tony Stark, all right? Tony Stark, that's my answer.
okay, fine. I see where you're going with this. So reading through this joint, would you see this as a go or a no go for you?
I would see it as a go. I wouldn't
Okay.
mind reading more of it. Because the level of tech in this world is undefined.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the players involved are, I mean, it's a fantastical world. It's kind of set in a realistic world, but with just enough sci-fi to keep me hooked.
Yeah, we see a lot of that sci-fi-ish type deal
Yeah.
in the 4th issue where they got that little transporter where they got to walk through. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know about, and a lot of people, yeah, I like that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't mind reading more.
Okay. All right, it's a no go for me, man.
No go for you.
Yeah, it's
Why
a no go for me. Like I said, it's just too many. Too much of the trying to but what about you know, it's just who's working for who, which normally if it's well handled I'm okay within a spy story of the shifting allegiances and all that, but it just wasn't grabbing me here on this one, you know. And like you were saying, that jarring lack of continuity in the art just wasn't doing it for me either.
That makes sense.
It's no go for me, sir. Go for you, no go for me. And we're going to roll right into... we're not going to break yet.
I'm not going to break.
We're going to roll right into our other book, Zone Continuum.
Yeah.
By Dark Horse.
Dark Horse. Let's see here. That was my pick. It was a random pick because I just didn't have any other Z's for consideration.
Yeah, Bruce Zick.
Bruce Zick.
He did
and
the
art
writing
by,
and art by Bruce Zick as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's quite a feat because I found it as absolute garbage. 2 for 2, Bruce.
What do you mean 0 for 2 is what he was?
Well, he succeeded in failing.
Yeah, okay, so we'll give him that. He succeeded in crashing and burning on an epic
Everything
monumental.
from the copy-pasted dialogue to the... I mean, I guess the artwork was kind of okay, but it was very like, hey, you're going to grab some characters from a D&D campaign and then also throw in some Heavy Metal 2000 for whatever fucking reason.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a giant fucking motorcycle that actually uses its wheels for hover. I was like, what is this? I'm being forced to look at it. Then I gave up.
So we were both struggling on the Z's. A little backstory for you, a little peek behind the curtain. Image was having a sale on Comixology, and I was like, well, I mean, let me just go see what the Z's are talking about. I saw 0, and I was like, I got nothing, and it's on sale. I'll pick it up. And then
I was gonna go for Zen Intergalactic Ninja, but unfortunately, it was not on Comixology. So I was like,
Jermon Jackson brought it up on this week's episode of Pop Ringa. He's like, you should have went for the Zen Intergalactic Ninja.
Yeah.
And also it was mentioned that we probably should have just done Zorro.
Yeah, Zorro, but everyone was expecting Zorro.
Yeah.
I would have brought out my signed copy of like a 1990s Zen Intergalactic Ninja with a foil embossed cover, but
Oh yeah, that's
I
very
didn't
nice.
want to break the.
You can't break the seal on that, man.
No.
Can't break that. That's in case of emergency business right there. So yeah, and then we found Zone Continuum on sale as well, and they're like, fuck it, man. Let's roll the dice, and if they, if they're good, they're good, and if not, then we only paid, maybe a total of $6 between the two of them.
And that time we went Rastafarian and we were like, gambled and lost.
Yeah, it didn't turn out well for us, is what we're trying to tell you.
No.
Do you remember what Zone Continuum was about in the first place?
Yeah, the world is split into these zones where there's an environmental horrors. Like the planet's pretty much fucked.
Right.
So they have to wear these special suits to be able to traverse different places, but also just stay away from the poison gas and that kind of stuff. And they also have these suits that allow them to fly. They have to. It was really weird. It was like almost like not in a good way. It's like gargoyles where they have to climb a building and then jump off and fly. I'm like, what is this?
It feels like this was just a horrible fever dream this man had once.
It was,
but he didn't remember it when he woke up. And he's like, I think there was like an orcish type dude. Yeah. And there were some guys in some suits, and then he just kind of went with it.
There's this order of apparently this guy has been the leader of this group for some time, and he keeps being resurrected maybe somehow, and he's being challenged for control by this young upstart. There's always a young upstart that thinks
there's always going to be, yeah. And there's never a dude older trying to challenge. Well, maybe M'Baku's older than T'Challa.
Maybe so.
Maybe so.
It wasn't M'Baku, but even still, he was like, all right, I lost fair and square. I'm good.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Challenged.
It's challenge day.
Yeah. And he fought fair, so.
And M'Baku did fight fair. This dude, not so much. Well, I'm still not sure. And then, you
didn't get to that part.
Yeah, the young upstart challenges this dude, knocks him off the roof of the building, only to be found by this random black guy.
Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, I'll save you.
I'll save you for no apparent reason.
I'll say this. Quote from my good friend, college roommate, Milton Williams, who said, and I quote, I don't know if you've watched the G.I. Joe animated movie.
Oh, quite some time ago.
But you remember the character, Nemesis Enforcer with wings.
Yes.
All right, so I think he gets punched by Sergeant Slaughter and thrown into a ravine. Mm-hmm. And then Nemesis Enforcer just goes and apparently perishes or something like that.
Well,
and Milton says, I hate when flying things don't fly.
Oh man,
they have
prophetical right
They have suits that allow them to fly. He's thrown off a building. I'm like, all right, well, this shouldn't be an issue. Like, no, he crashes and burns on this thing.
Well, I assume you need to be awake and conscious to operate your flying suit, which I don't.
He was still awake.
He was still awake.
He was still awake. He was kind of fucked up. He was fucked up. He really had no experience. He had no excuse.
How is he running this town?
Poorly.
That's the only answer. So, I think it's safe to say this is a no-go.
It's a no-go.
I mean, yeah, we couldn't even finish the first volume.
No, I mean, I think it was clear they were setting up the young black kid to be taking over the mantle of this, or at least be an interim or something. I don't know.
To be his Robin.
I don't think he's going to take over for his thing completely.
Because
he's too old.
Okay, yeah, they did mention heavily.
They're going to do a Batman Beyond type of deal. I didn't get that far because I don't give a shit. but I can see clearly why involve someone. Yeah. Okay. So I could tell that they were pruning this guy so that he would be that, hey, I am too old for this shit.
So do you think this young upstart random black guy was going to come back and challenge the other dude for a nomination?
Probably. And he'll probably win, even though he'll have an entire issue of that whole, hey, I don't know how to work this thing. I did this by accident. Oh, I won by accident. Oh, now I'm but then the other guy still survives, and so he still sticks around to be his nemesis. That's how those things go.
That's how those things. And now I did notice that due to the way the Earth is fucked up and everything's kind of, the cities are split in these different zones, our main guy is not in the same zone as his wife, and you can't traverse zones. Where I quit at completely is I saw the wife was starting to suit up like he needs me. I'm gonna go cross zones. What do you think happens to her?
I think she makes it.
You think she makes it?
I think it's easier to traverse zones with suits on than they're letting us know. But again,
with these predictions, we don't give a shit. Now with these predictions, I kind of want to go back and see how accurate we were.
Maybe we want to thumb through it here now.
No.
Okay. Be that way.
That's going to do it for the first segment of this bit of business. And then when we come back, we're going to do a little bit of retrospective of our A through Z's. And we're going to talk a little bit about if we have gone or non-gone since then. And we'll be right back on ABC's TPPs after these messages.
Now come on, urchin. What's this all about?
Of course, gotta save the city.
Well, that's our job, too.
Oh, I don't know. Very, very dangerous down there.
We're not afraid to get our hands dirty. How bad can it be?
Okay, just try and keep up.
All right, we are here. We are back for the last time.
Back for the last time. A Ludacris album.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, his very first album was called Back for the Last Time, if I remember correctly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's got some pretty good music out there.
He's got great music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's music you can shake your tush to.
Yeah, if you got one, you can.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
If you don't try.
You might hurt yourself.
I don't want you to get any lower back problems.
We've seen all those those TikTok twerking videos out there. You're on notice. So we're going to review all the books that we've read so far, the no and the no go and the goes that we've ranked, and give you, the listener, the information that you didn't want to know if we did indeed go or no go.
Indeed.
All right. So we're starting this off with Autumn Lands.
Autumn Lands. Did you go ahead for this, or are you even interested in?
No, I picked up the second book.
Yep. Yeah. You checked it out?
Yeah, I read it.
As did I, sir.
Okay.
And I think our feelings on the Authority are well known.
Your feelings? Our feelings? You like them?
Yeah, I love the Authority, dude.
Right,
Yeah,
cool,
that's
cool.
the only Warren Ellis I like.
Oh, that's right. That's
Is
right.
the Authority?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all about some Authority. I read that I think they did a 12-issue run or something like that.
Maybe so.
To kick about him and Brian Hitch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
love a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Authority, fucking loved it.
Okay.
The Bees, Black Widow. You were a no-go, if I remember correctly. Have you any mind change there on this iteration of Black Widow?
No, I mean, I've read a lot of super soldier type books and spies and that kind of stuff, and there's something about her character, even though she's been mistreated and underrepresented in cinematic media. Even though we're getting a movie for her post
Post-death.
Was it not posthumously?
Yes, posthumously.
Posthumously. It's stuff in the comics I have not been able to really get into. She's kind of like the Wonder Woman. It has to be a very specific writer for me to hook me on this.
Let me throw you this. Mark Waid. After this Nate Edmondson run,
I like Mark Waid.
Mark Waid did a 2-volume Black Widow run. Mm-hmm. I suggest you listening, if you're curious at all about the Widow, just pick up the first issue, because that first issue, I was against it, because I was like, because the Nate Edmondson one that we did for the show is my definitive Black Widow run.
Really? So you like that more than the one that you're recommending I should read?
That first issue, yes. The whole thing overall is a very good story, but that first issue is goddamn bananas. Right. It is 22 pages of straight action, at least to her busting out of the helicarrier. I do like just bananas. In open air, and just free falling.
I do like bananas.
Yeah, if you want to check out some good Black Widow action, at least check out the first issue of the Mark Waid Black Widow. And on the other hand, we have Batman v Predator.
Oh yeah, man, that was a great pulp classic.
It was.
They made several of them. There were 2 Batman versus Predators, and then they also had some Batman versus Aliens.
They've got 3 Batman and Ninja Turtles. Yeah. What is it about Batman? Just crossing over with every other. Where's Batman versus Star Trek?
Because they did Star Trek did a crossover with X-Men.
X-Men, yeah, back in the
different world. So they can't. It's already been exhausted. No, I think. It follows the rule of Batman that whenever you put Batman with something else, it makes it better.
Yeah. You said that they made more than one of these.
Yeah.
Did you read the other one?
Yeah.
Okay. I would not.
I know.
That's a little bit too pulpy for me, sir.
Well, sometimes you gotta have your guilty pleasures.
All right, that's fair. Copperhead and Chew for our C's. Now you read Copperhead Volume 1. You did not like it, or you did?
I did like Copperhead, and I think I went ahead and started on the second volume of that, and I'm still enjoying it. I love I forget the guy's name, the guy with the 4 arms he would have been sheriff, but he got sidelined. He's like, you know what?
Starts with a B. That's gonna bother me for the rest of this episode.
Well, we'll figure. You can Google it if you want, but yeah. But no, he resolved himself to being like, I'm just gonna be as sarcastic as possible and unhelpful as possible. If someone's shooting at us, I'll shoot back. But if they're shooting at you, you're like, bro.
And I think he's probably had. Him and the mutie who was living on the out fringes have had some of the best.
You call him the mutie.
Yeah, I just can't think of his name. They have some of the best development throughout the volumes, and that guy just he just stays sarcastic the whole way through.
That's good.
Yeah, and Chew. What's your thoughts on Chew?
No Chew. I knew that. I think they were developing a TV show on, and I love that we have an Asian in front. And the artwork was just kind of weird, but just something about it, just that mixture. Sometimes you get mixture of ingredients. Like, oh, I love all these ingredients, and you actually have it combined together, cooked, simmered, sautéed, whatever, and you're like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it was.
That's kind of how she was. Yeah.
Not to. And the thing is, I don't want to be down on them because I thought it's a really cool idea, but I just couldn't get into it.
I thought that idea was not the greatest.
Really?
Yeah, and then the art and the story behind the accompanies the idea didn't do it for me either.
So you watched the iZombie show, but then you're like, oh, Chew, no.
No, I didn't watch it.
I can't have a human eating flesh and then getting psycho.
Too well for me. D's. Divinity. Now, there's 3 divinities.
Yeah.
I think you brought that one to the table. Have you read all 3?
I read all.
All right, then the Supergirls. I've also read all 3 because that story is excellent.
It is amazing.
Descender. Have you read any more Descender?
Yes, I downloaded all. I don't know. I'd say the next 3 on my tablet.
All right, so you were definitely in for some more goes.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's a really good series.
I have all 5 volumes on the bookshelf. So.
East of West and then Earth X.
Yeah.
East of West was good. I think I picked up volume 2 while we were reviewing that one. I think I went ahead and read the second volume of that one.
Okay.
But I hadn't continued from there. It's one of those things like it's reading so much stuff, you got to come back to things.
Yeah.
Kind of have to strike when the iron's hot.
Yeah, East of West, Hickman, we were just talking about him before we started recording this segment. If you want big ideas, he's the person to go to for big ideas.
Yeah.
Great
ideas, great dialogue, great artwork. Because he didn't contribute to the artwork, but
he picks.
One might say that his words influenced and inspired the artists to pull their best shit out there.
Yeah, he works with great artists. And Earth X is Earth X.
He didn't finish it, so you don't know of its majesty.
Purple
Mountain's majesty.
Now, Universe X comes after that.
All right.
Did you read Universe X?
I did read Universe X. It was a little bit of a letdown.
Okay.
It seemed to me like it was a kind of a cash grab.
Yeah. Okay, just based off building off the name Earth X, the brand recognition.
Yeah.
All right then. And Fables and Future Foundation are RRFs.
Yeah, I'd read Fable stuff before, so I was already a go on that.
What about Future Foundation?
Future Foundation, I liked Hickman stuff, and I was really intrigued by, excuse me, Johnny Storm's fate in that entire series. So what I did was instead of tracking down all the individual issues, I think I Wikipedia'd it.
You just read it?
I read all the different pieces that comprised it. I pulled up some articles online. I was like, oh, this is really good.
If you want a cohesive narrative on what happens, there is a channel on YouTube called Comics Explained. And he explains the Hickman Fantastic Four run from that first issue all the way to the last issue of Future Foundation.
See,
I think it's like something like an hour and some change long. And just lays the whole thing out.
I was wondering because that's an issue that's a challenge, I'll say, in the comic book world, is that if you get out of reading for certain arcs and periods of time, you kind of have difficulty catching back up. You gotta do all this research to get back into it. Sometimes you don't want to go and track down all these books. Isn't there some place where they've got, hey, if you stop reading at this point, here's what will catch you up to this point, as you can jump back on. Yeah, I thought that's kind of a needed, necessary thing. So,
and he does it for Comics Explained on YouTube by Rob, who I've had a couple dealings with in the past. He does a good number of famous storyline events in both Marvel and DC. So House of M, he's explained. Onslaught, he's explained. Brightest Day, Blackest Night, Crisis on Infinite Earths. You name it, he's probably got a video talking about it. And I think he also has a video that explains like a 3-hour cut of just Hickman's Avengers Secret Wars run. This is everything that happened. Grass Kings, you did not go with.
Yeah, I was not a fan.
Not a fan. All right, and then Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Punisher.
I think we both had about as much of that as we could take.
Correct. And that's all needs to be said about G's.
They never went back to it.
And neither did we.
Yeah.
Hadrian's Wall. That was kind of a self-contained joint. You no-go'd it, didn't you?
No, I went.
You went?
Yeah. I downloaded that trade.
Now, had there been a second murder mystery, would you been in for that as well? Same team did a 5-issue Winter Soldier.
Probably not, because they resolved a couple of major issues that the character had. So there's nothing else to really explore with his character. He'd found peace.
Right.
So there's nothing, no need to trot him back out there.
Humans-
Image does a great job of saying, "Hey,
we
told the story.
This
This is it."
Yeah, self-contained. Keep moving. Human Target. You've read many Human Targets.
Yeah, I have. I enjoyed it.
It was a no-go for me. It was a hard no-go. I will not be revisiting Human Target anytime soon.
It's your loss, man.
I will take that loss proudly. On the eyes, man. Invincible.
Yeah.
It was your pick.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You goated it. You've read.
I read
the
a lot
whole
of it.
thing. Or?
I've gotten up to the 80s, I think.
In the 80s. Okay. That seems about right by the halfway mark, maybe ish.
You kept reading.
No, I did not keep reading, but I have bought, I think, the first 5 or 6 trades.
Okay.
So I intend to keep reading it. So that's
You're in for a treat.
in for a treat. I think I tentatively go'd it the first time, but it was on sale, and I was like, well, too many people are saying it's good, including ABC's TV's own Ninja Day.
Right.
So I better go ahead and see it. And then Invisible Republic.
Yep. I went ahead and got the second volume of that. Have not read it yet, but it's on my way.
All right, then.
Wait. I'm trying to think of Invisible Republic.
He's
No,
thinking.
because that's the one where the
Didn't you
brother
borrow
and
my
sister.
3 trades?
I think I did. I think I read all the ones that you let me borrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the brother and sister, and then
Yep.
I love that.
Forming the rebellion and all that kind of good
I
stuff.
still need to continue reading it, but it's on the go list.
The J's, JLA Earth 2 and Jupiter's Legacy.
Self-contained JLA Earth 2. I loved it.
I did not like it, if I remember correctly.
It was
Oh,
very
that's right,
snarky.
that damn Frank Quitely art.
Yeah.
And Grant Morrison, which it's known that I'm not a fan of.
It is
Grant
problematic.
Morrison. And Jupiter's Legacy.
Which I loved. I got into the next volume of that.
Excellent, excellent. I plan on. I have not yet. There are caves. Kill Be Killed and Capterra. What we read of Capterra, is that it, or is there more after that?
I think that's it.
That's it. So they just never finished that story out.
Right.
That hurts.
Well, I mean, no, that's it was the way they ended it was fine.
There
for
was
the
more to be
ridiculous.
told. There was much more to be told.
Yeah, there was, but
Yeah. I would have preferred to have a go on this with more stuff. That was, I think, of all the Dave pulls, Captara ties with something we will bring up later. That's my favorite. Kill or Be Killed.
Yeah, I read all of those except for the last trade, and I guess maybe it's kind of that I don't want it to end just yet, but yeah, it must. So, I will finish it.
It does. It does. It ends surprisingly. I'll put it that way. I'll put it that way. That's great book.
Okay.
Els, Lazarus and Low.
I continue reading Low. I continue reading Lazarus.
All right then, boom.
How about you?
I no Low for me.
That's right. You didn't finish the first one.
I didn't finish first.
That was the one where I hated it. I hated it at first, and then I gave it another read through.
Yeah.
And it hooked me the next time.
Yeah, that for this show was my other read through. I tried it once before that, and just couldn't do it. Lazarus, I have first 5 volumes on the shelf, so much goes for me. And then the series just came back. They took a hell of a long detour for like maybe almost 2 years.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Bullshit detour. Now they're back to the main story.
I was a bit wary of that, so I was like, oh, I'll just kind of ease off of it a little bit, maybe jump in when it gets interesting again.
Yes, it is interesting again. Check it out. M's. The book that defined Ninja Dave's life. Meta Barons.
Greatest tome that exists to man. Greater still than the Executioner's Song.
Greater still than, I mean, what I have written down on this cue card is greater than Executioner's Song. Yes, I've gone. I think I've read the first 4 or 5 trades of this with the intent of reading more.
Good.
Yeah. When things start to calm down. At Dave's consistent insistence.
Yes.
And asking every time I see him, have you read more of
Without
that?
cease.
It will not cease. And Mouse Guard. Have you read any more of that, sir?
Oh, yeah.
Was that a go for you or no go?
It was a go, even though I think in the episode I was like, it doesn't make me want to read more of it, but I have read more of them, and just kind of random issues here and there because they have different seasons that they have out there, and it's just cool, seeing mice with weapons and just doing their thing against nature.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great concept. Fortunately, the movie got killed during the Fox-Disney merger, because of the Fox-Disney merger. And Next Wave Nailbiter. Next wave was a no hard pass for me.
He didn't like the humor. That
Didn't
they
like
used
the attempt at humor was just not there for me. That was an Ellis joint too, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, me and Ellis just don't clash.
It's amazing.
Nail Biter, our only horror joint on this whole series.
Maybe so. It was a cool one, but then I didn't continue reading it.
Okay, fair enough. And the O's Original Sin is kind of a self-contained joint too. But you didn't feel Original Sin, did you?
Yeah.
That hurt my heart a little bit, man.
Yeah, it was very. I just didn't care much about the storyline involved. It was very kind of flash in the pan, like Avengers versus X-Men. I just couldn't do it.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah.
And then Outsiders was a no-go. That was one of our rare double no-go episodes.
Double no-go.
Yeah, I didn't, and I will not. I do believe. Oh, over on the P's, Paper Girls and Planetary.
I'll say this: did I tell you about the thing with Outsiders?
That thing about the Outsiders. No, what thing?
I think about because they were getting their instructions from Batman.
Correct. It's from Alfred.
Outsiders. No, you're thinking about We Are Robin.
Yeah.
From Outsiders. They're getting it from Batman. It turns out maybe 6, 7, 8 issues in. Turns out that they're actually getting the information from Deathstroke parading as Batman.
Ooh, all right then.
Yeah,
Interesting twist there.
Yeah.
P's, Paper Girl Planetary.
Mm-hmm.
Planetary is another Ellis joint, isn't it? Thanks for just shoving them down my throat. I appreciate that.
You appreciate at least one of those.
Hard pressed. It was a no-go for me. I'm still kind of but so many people have been like, what do you mean you didn't like Planetary? Mm-hmm. That I was thinking about checking it out again. I might have to catch it when it's on sale.
I got all the trades if you want me to just...
I might.
I got them in hardcover and everything.
Ew, you know I don't like the hardcovers.
Well,
No, not a big fan.
No.
Not a big fan. And Paper Girls, which I think we were both hard goes on.
Yes, we're still... I'm holding off on reading the current trade that I have just because waiting for the last one to come out.
Correct. The last one, if you listen to this, the day it goes up, which you're not, or it goes up tomorrow. The day we're recording this, that's what I wanted to say. The last issue, the final issue of Paper Girls number 40 dropped today. I think it's something like 48 pages.
Oh.
And so it wraps everything up. I have, as of yet, to check it out because, like you, I'm waiting for the trade. Q's. Quantum and Woody 1 and 2. Have you read anything past 2?
No.
Me either. Moving it on. Rye and Rat Queens. What do you think about these ones?
No on Rye, but Rat Queens has been epic. I've been continuing to read that.
Rat Queens is what ties Cap Tara for me, for Dave choices of best book.
Hey.
Yeah.
You didn't recommend Rat Queens? You didn't recommend Rat Queens? I thought you had. I thought I recommended Rye.
No, I recommended Rye. You recommended... Wait. No, you recommended Rat Queens. I recommended Rye. Because I needed it already. It was sitting on my shelf, so I was like, Rye it is. Pretty sure I recommend it. Yeah.
Did you sell that immediately after?
What, the Rye?
Yeah.
No.
You probably can't pay someone to take that. Hand it out as...
It's a library. I'll say
No. Hand it out as a part of the gifts for kids on Halloween.
There you go.
Yeah, you might get TP'd after. But...
You're the last kid, so you get this right. S. Sex Criminals and Sea Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on these?
Oh,
Mr.
both wonderful.
You were huge goes on both of these. Yeah, I was a no. Who wrote Sea Guy?
That's that thing.
That's what.
Or Grant Morrison, one of them. One of those that are your favorites.
Yeah, Grant Morrison and Warren Ellis are notorious, the two that I hate the most. Not hate, I just don't like their writing.
Right.
Needless to say, I didn't make it past Sea Guy. Sex Criminals, yeah.
Yes, they came out with 2 more volumes of that.
Sea Guy?
Yeah, incredible conspiracies. It's wonderful.
Incredible drink coasters is what they could be for me. T's, Transformers, more than me, T.I. And Tokyo Ghost. Now, you are the resident Transformers expert in Paprika there, so obviously that was a go for you.
Oh, yeah. The entire series.
Yeah, when time actually starts freeing up, and it is finally starting to, I can sit down and see if I can dig more into these Transformers.
I've got the whole thing digitally, and I can send them to you in PDF.
All right then. See what I'm missing out on this universe. Tokyo Ghost was a no-go for you, if I remember.
It was a no-go. I liked what it was trying to do near the end of it, but I just could not get into that Sabretooth Birdie kind of relationship that they were trying to force on me. I wasn't buying it.
Wasn't buying it.
Yeah.
Only 2 volumes, and I love both, especially that art by Sean Gordon Murphy. It's one of the few Rick Remender joints I enjoy. Hughes Ultimates And unfollow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were big on the unfollowed, right?
Yeah, big on Unfollow and Ultimates.
Okay, yeah.
I introduced you to Ultimate so that you would know what directly influenced Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I like these Ultimates. I liked it a lot. Have you read any
Such
more?
an asshole. So yeah, I read.
Of Unfollow, I mean.
Oh yeah, I finished Unfollow. I downloaded all of those. I finished it.
Okay, yeah.
You still haven't finished it though.
No, I have finished it.
Oh, okay.
I have finished it since we recorded.
It was the twist I was kind of expecting.
Satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, satisfying. Ultimates, I think I read the first 3 books of.
For the volume.
I think that's, Millar's run. And I think Hitch or something like that comes
Did you get to the part where like the X-Men had crossed over into it?
No, I didn't get that far.
Okay. Because there was just a cool ass exchange between him and Hawkeye.
Him who?
But between Wolverine and Hawkeye.
Okay.
He had by this time his family, Hawkeye's family, had been murdered.
Yeah.
And he had taken the other persona, and he was just a real douchebag.
Yeah.
And he was being a douchebag to Wolverine, and Wolverine was like a douchebag right back. He's like, what was it? He was I forget the exact exchange, but essentially he insulted Wolverine, and Wolverine's comeback was that how's your dead family doing?
Oh.
And I was like, oh my god! And they just went at it.
That's a big move.
they were not comfortable with each other.
Okay.
Going forward.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
V's Velvet and Vision. What are your thoughts on Velvet?
Velvet, I was like, I think I'm good here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. I didn't need to read more.
And you stayed good.
I stayed good.
You stayed good. I read the 3 Trades. It's incredible spy story. If you'd like to check that out, you listeners. And then, of course, Tom King's Vision. Because no one ever just calls it Vision. I've only heard it called Tom King's Vision.
Tom King's Vision. And you hadn't... Did you finish it?
No, I have.
Oh,
I went and picked up the second
It was
volume.
really weird because we read it and you're like, oh man, it's really, really weird that they ended it that way. I was like, yeah, there's more to it than that. He's like, what? There's more?
There's more?
I was like, yes.
Yes, I have picked up the more. I picked it up at Heroes Con this year.
Good. Yeah, it's amazing stuff. It's heart-wrenching.
All right, that's what I like to read. W's, We Stand on Guard and We Are Robin. We Stand on Guard is another self-contained joint, but it is one that I would gladly take more of.
Yeah, I would read more of that. I will reread that.
Yeah, oh damn, the reread, our first reread. Yeah. And We Are Robin was not it for me, sir.
Yeah, it was. I ended that with that first one too.
Yeah.
I like the idea that we had a Black Robin. I like the idea that we had a team dynamic where they communicated through the cellular networks. I like that they were getting some guidance from Alfred. But beyond that, I was like, the artwork really kept changing, and it kept throwing me, and it didn't have cohesion.
Yeah, agree. Exo Manowar and that other book that Dave suggested, The Executioner's Song.
Oh yeah, Exo Manowar. I enjoyed it. I read all of the, and I own all the original Valiant Exo Manowar.
What about the updated Valiant, which is what we did for the show?
I just have the one.
Just the one?
Yeah. I was like,
no wish to.
I'm sure that they have updated and done some things differently, but that first volume was almost verbatim what the first issue from the original was like.
You gotta drag him back in before you switch it up.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I've seen this, and I get it. And he wasn't one of my favorites back then, but it's kind of like when someone is a pioneer for a character or concept, and then you get so many derivations that people have kind of picked up and based off of that version. Then when they go back to that classic character, it seems like he's been overdone.
Okay.
So that's where I was with that.
And Executioner's Song, which is a Dave recommendation.
It's a classic. Stab your eyes. I'm a man.
My thoughts were well known on that episode.
The artwork was all over the place.
All over the place.
But that's the series that really introduced me and got me in the corner of In Sabanur.
Okay. All right. Apocalypse.
Yeah.
All right. Why The Last Man and Young Avengers? Goes for me on both.
I have all except maybe the last 3 volumes of Why the Last Man, and I stopped some time ago because something disrupted my flow and I just didn't go back to finish. So I'm going to reread the entire thing.
Yeah.
And finally finish it. I just it's one of those things I'll get to.
And what about Young Avengers? You reading more of that? Past volume 1?
Nah.
No.
It was a cool little jaunt there, but I was like, oh, we're going on a road trip. A little bit of convoluted conceit. I think I'm okay.
Yeah, that's when I'm like, if I would have had to have read everything else I wanted to read before I come back to Young
Yeah, I
Adventures.
mean, it's good, and that's the whole thing they talk about. Oh, you guys want diversity and blah blah blah, but then you won't support the books that I can say that I can't buy everything. Mm-hmm. I can't buy everything.
Can't buy everything.
I can't buy everything. Well, I support when I can.
Yeah, and Why the Last Man, I also have the first 7-8 volumes of, so I do plan on reading more. And our thoughts on Zone, Continuum, and Zero are documented here in this episode.
We talked about it, but I think it bears repeating that that Zero was amazing, and Zone Continuum. I don't think we need to say anything about it.
We don't need to say anything about it at all. That's it, man. That is it for the final episode of the Alphabets of Trade Paperbacks. Thanks for coming on this A to Z with me.
Yeah, it's been a great journey, man. It's been fun, even on the episodes where I didn't prepare myself for the materials beforehand. But I like to think I made up for it with a bunch of bullshitting.
Yeah. I mean, I recognize.
I mean, that's really what I bring to the table is bullshit. Really, when it comes down to it.
And you were great at that. I being a professional on this show, did what I could.
Yes. You tried. You did your best to carry those episodes. You did it like a champ.
And thanks to all of y'all for listening. Of course, I do a special shout out to our favorite listener, Alicia Gomez, who was distraught to hear that the show was coming to an end.
I was distraught too, Alicia. I have still vowed that I will read all of the comics that you have recommended. I just need to get that list from you. If you have that list, I would love if you just want to message it to me. I can. I will start to go through that. If for some reason you can't, I will scroll back through tirelessly through past year and some change of Paprika group chats. Don't make me do this. Just send me the list if you could, and I'd be forever in your debt.
Yeah. She was a great sport about the whole thing.
Yeah. Did you want to tell them about the new secret project?
Not yet. Not quite
Damn
yet.
it, man.
We do have... This will not be the last time you hear me and Dave talk comics. Let me put it that way. Oh. We do have the Secret Project, Paprika Limited, coming sometime in October. I'll say that. October 31st will be the first episode of Paprika Limited. So more on that as it develops.
Excellent.
I think that's it. I'm looking forward to this. It's just gonna be a little 12 episode run.
Yeah,
should be nice.
Okay,
should be nice. You have any parting words there, sir?
Since Seed isn't going to reveal the secret project that he has going on, I'm just going to reveal one of his secrets. Seed's a scroll.